So what's my trigger for getting out of the S&P 500 and actually going into cash? Let me summarize it for you. There is no fail-safe guaranteed method. If anything in finance was guaranteed and finance isn't physics, then you and I'd be trillionaires. Instead, what we're trying to do is deploy a degree of prudence. Now, you could skip this video and say, well, do you know what? I'm just going to hold things through every single cycle. Even if I see prices falling and people are talking about crashes and bear markets, I'm just going to sit through it all. Not even Warren Buffett has done that, because we know from his portfolios changing over periods of time that even he, whilst he might always be invested, he changes what he owns as times have evolved. So for me, 2022 is an example where I had to hold cash. And for the S&P, that might happen again. I don't know when it's going to happen. That's point number one. I don't know when. The what is what I'm looking out for. So what is it that I'm looking out for? The thing that I found which has been the most helpful, not guaranteed, but the most helpful across my 18 odd books as an act of prudence has been moving average prices. So in this case, the MACD, moving average convergence divergence. If I look at a weekly stock price, but a monthly MACD, then the things I'm really looking for on the S&P 500, ideally, is a rising weekly and monthly MACD. Those are rare. When those happen, most of the time, 70-80% of the time, you're going to get a really good upward move lasting weeks, if not months. You might get the odd dip down. What I'm looking for in terms of exits has happened in 2022, and you can put this into any charting package and look at it for yourself, is what I call the daddy bear. Now, the daddy bear is where the monthly MACD crosses its own moving average, to be a bit technical. Okay, it's worth learning the technicals of what I'm talking about. As a hedge fund manager, when we set up the hedge fund 20 years ago, it was set up as a momentum-based hedge fund. Okay, so some of our best investments were at the time in BlackBerry, because the momentum was going up. When the momentum stopped and it hit some kind of daddy bear, we had to exit. Apple. What I couldn't believe is, as a momentum-based hedge fund, all we were doing was, well, looking out of the window a lot of the time if we weren't fundraising. Because you're waiting for the markets to do their thing. There isn't anything to do. We weren't hyperactive trading. We were holding for days, weeks, in the case of Apple, for well over a year, and it did its thing, and we got to charge 2% of assets under management, 20% of performance fees during those periods. Of course, then the financial crisis happened, and that's a whole different management issue. But the point is, these momentum-based indicators, whilst they don't give me certainty or a guarantee, what they allow me to see with greater clarity is an increased probability of a deeper, steeper downturn, as happened in 2022. When they happen on the S&P 500 and the key stocks, which are components of it, like Meta, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Alphabet, then you've got a degree of corroboration that this isn't likely to be just a little blip. So the crossover is what I'd call the daddy bear. Now, there's problems with that. One is, as it happened in 2025, it might be short-lived and you get a V-shaped recovery. Or as happened in 2020 with COVID, you get a V-shaped recovery. So the only time it's really of use is if you are particularly risk averse and prudent and you start easing off a bit of your money. It doesn't have to be binary entry or exit. It can be, it can instead be on a sliding scale. You'll sell a little bit as the falls manifest themselves. Now, again, as I've said before, you don't have to try and do all of this. You could say, I'll just sit through it. It's not for me, Alpesh. It doesn't suit my persona, my risk persona. The time that I have, I will just sit through those falls and rises, and that's fine. But I give you a classic example in 2022. In the case of Meta, it fell 75% after the daddy bear had occurred. Now, you can't apply this to every stock. It can be applied to what I call the Quality 5 Plus and the exchange traded fund. So index trackers like the S&P 500 works fairly well. That 75% drop in Meta is behaviorally very difficult for people to take. On top of that, the rebound meant I had a lot of powder dry because I didn't lose that 75% because we went into cash. A lot of powder dry that when the MACD started rising, we were able to get back in. Now, remember, we're looking at monthly and weekly here. So we're not trading and trying to time in and out. So when did we have to use this? Well, 2020, it happened so quickly. There was no opportunity to with COVID, if you remember. 2022, we used it. It worked a treat. Would I say I was lucky? Yeah, because everything's out of my hands anyway. 2025, we took the risk that it might be like 2022, and it wasn't. So what's the downside? Well, the downside is psychologically, having exited, we were happy to have exited, but it was an insurance policy because we ended up buying back more expensive later. And if you don't like to buy back more expensive later, which is the risk of doing what I've just suggested and pulling the trigger and exiting, then you've got two options. You can either, as I've said at the start of this video, just sit through it all and say, listen, gobbledygook, don't want to do any of it. Or you could say, well, I'll start exiting a bit 50-50 and keep some in just in case it's V-shaped. The benefits are largely behavioral. They're not just economic. They're largely behavioral in the sense that if you can avoid panic in the markets because you're doing something, then it'll stop you making worse decisions, because usually panic is a bad decision when it comes to the market. So I hope all of that sort of helped and addressed some of your concerns about investing. What I'd like you to do, please, if you're watching this on YouTube, please share this video, please like it, please comment, please subscribe. All of those things boost the algorithm to send it to more people. If it gets sent to more people, I'll do more of these. Okay, so it costs you nothing to comment, even if it's an emoji, or just say, look, I liked it, more please. Just put that in the comment. Please like, subscribe, follow. All of those things are incredibly important because then I do more of them and you might enjoy them. But more importantly, a bit of altruism and community service. You and I are then sending it to a bigger audience because YouTube will then send it to a bigger audience. Okay, so I hope you found that useful. And if you watch my webinars, so have a look at alpeshpatel.com. If you watch my webinars, you'll see I show charts and images of all of these things in there as well. Thank you all very much.